Well, that just made it all worth it. I'm here in Gresham, Oregon, and I am visiting Courtney with Poppy and Dale Vintage. Courtney just got back from a 3-week adventure in Florence, Italy, and I'm so excited to talk to her today and find out about how her trip went. And of course, we're going to be checking out her amazing store and a couple of the other vintage shops and thrift stores here in Gresham, Oregon. A few episodes back, I finally was able to share with you the secret project that I have been working on, and I told you about the app Niche. And you guys had so many questions about it, so I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about the app at the end of the video. The main reason that I wanted to bring it up in today's episode is because these stores that I'm visiting today are the exact stores that are going to benefit from Niche. It's really going to promote the small brick and mortar businesses and help bring customers into their stores. And I am so excited for Courtney and all of the vendors at Poppy and Dale Vintage because she has signed up to use Niche, and now if you are local, you're going to be able to shop her store even easier than before. So stay tuned to the end of the video to find out more about the app Niche, and right now let's go ahead and get shopping. Poppy and Dale Vintage is located on Main Street in the historic downtown Gresham area, and Courtney's store is so cute. She has some of the top vintage vendors in the Portland area here in her store. We recently got a new couch for our living room, and unfortunately our amazing vintage Danish coffee table is not working in that space. And I absolutely love this chunky travertine table, but unfortunately this one is too big. I always want the things that are not for sale in a store. That's just the way it goes for me, it seems like. And this wicker dress form is no exception. It is not for sale. However, I talked with Courtney and we sent a message to Darren with all the stuff and things PDX, and he said he might be willing to make an exception for me. This would be beautiful to photograph jewelry on. So stay tuned and we will find out if I will end up getting this or not. This is too funny. Do any of you remember like a year and a half ago, maybe even 2 years ago, when I found this exact same bowl? I have still to this day never figured out who made it. I had never seen one before, I've never seen one since, and then here it is, right here in Poppy and Dale Vintage. If by any chance you happen to know who made this bowl, please comment below. I am just dying to know who made mine. Directly across the street from Poppy and Dale Vintage is Foxtrot Vintage, and we are going to go in here. I haven't been here in a while. I'm excited. Foxtrot Vintage is also on Main Street, directly across the street from Poppy and Dale Vintage. It's so fun when you go vintage shopping, and there are multiple stores you can walk to in a cute, historic downtown area. That's my favorite way to vintage shop. I love Foxtrot Vintage. It has a very eclectic style, and each vendor has a little bit something different. They have a lot of vendors here that clearly the sellers are into very unique items, and I think that this is a really great place to come with a family because a lot of the vendors have things for all ages. In little shops like this, you never know what you're going to find, and I think that's what makes it so much fun to come to with a group or with your family. Today I'm focusing on items for my online vintage store and for Christmas gifts, but now I know where I need to come when I'm ready to buy a bunch more tiki mugs. I have a feeling I'm really gonna regret not buying this vase. This is by an Idaho artist, Jan Fontecchio, and she also did a lot of fine art paintings, not just ceramics. And I know that her paintings sell for over $1,000, so I think $125 for this piece of pottery is probably a really reasonable price, especially if it is her early work like it states here on this label. I'm pretty torn right now. I'm just not sure if I want to spend the $125. but I have a bad feeling I'm gonna regret this. Next up, we are going to visit Found on Fremont. Now, this store was originally located in Portland, and they have just relocated here to Gresham. So I'm very excited to see their new setup, and hopefully we'll find a treasure or two. I think I probably have enough propagation stations in my home. I've even converted old pipe holders into propagation stations. It's $24, and since I already have some, I'm going to pass on this one today. I have not one, not two, but 3 lamps that match this one. They are lamps that we've kind of been holding on to because when we purchased our new home, we weren't sure if we were going to have a space for them or not, and we really love them. But because of the low ceilings in our basement, we ended up using mostly swag lamps. So I think that it's probably time that I let the 3 that I have go. This is too funny. I almost got this exact same coffee press for my husband for Christmas. These cost over $100. This one is here for only $15. The only reason I am not getting this today is because it has the walnut handles, and we have the blonde lighter wood handle matching teapot. So I really want our 2 to match. But this gives me hope that even though this is a newer brand, it's something that I might be able to thrift if I keep looking. All right, nothing yet. Apparently I'm being really picky today because all 3 of these vintage stores are great. I'm really trying to find some Christmas gifts. I have about 6 more Christmas gifts I'm on the hunt for, and I'm not quite exactly sure what I'm looking for, but I know that I'm gonna know it as soon as I see it. So we're gonna try a couple more stores. I think I'm gonna try fitting in a Goodwill today, and we're crossing our fingers that we're not gonna strike out today. I haven't been to this Goodwill in ages. I used to come here all the time when I had an online picture frame shop because this was a really good one to get good frames, nice solid wood ones. I'm kind of excited, kind of weirdly excited to be here today. Sometimes when something says as is, it's not a problem. It's like the faintest chip, or it's just a piece that's missing that can be replaced. But usually in pottery, that's not a good sign. So I had to pull the lid off on this one just to check and see how bad it was, because I did like the design. Even though it's on the inside of the lid, the chip is so big that it's not something I would feel good about reselling. I'm always on the hunt for candle holders for my vintage shop, and they sell really well this time of year because everyone's getting cozy at home and lighting candles. The simple, sleek design on these are pretty great, but it looks like both of these pairs are newer made productions. I'm also seeing a lot of interest and demand for cast iron and more Gothic style candle holders. I wish that these were the good old heavy ones. These are probably produced in the 90s, so I'm not going to get them, but I have really been keeping an eye out for the heavy old cast iron ones.
How fun and whimsical would this frog lamp be on a bookshelf in a kid's room? You'd have to find the right kind of lampshade for it, but I think that this would be really cute to have in a kid's library. This red lamp has some pretty great shape to it. This would actually be a good lamp for decorating for the holidays if you introduce a lot of red into your home just because of the holiday season. I think I'm still gonna pass on it today though. I think I might send a picture of these over to Courtney to see if she might be interested in these for her vintage store. The color is kind of interesting because it's a little bit like a mauve, almost a gray mauve, but I know that these could easily be repainted into a different color or even like a soft cream. And the big and bulky 1980s pieces are very popular here in the Portland area right now. Way too big for me to think about shipping, but I'm gonna see if Courtney is interested in them.
I don't know what's going on. This is weird. I haven't found anything yet today, but we're not gonna give up because we just don't give up when we're out thrifting. So I've got 3 more Goodwills mapped out that are kind of on my way back home, and we are just gonna keep trying until we find some treasures. Let's try this again. This is another really good Goodwill, so holding out hope.
And just like that, we finally have our first purchase of the day. This is a 1970s side table and it is only $12.99, and it's going to be perfect for staging items in the new studio space. I am very tempted by these oak end tables. They are very minimalist and chunky, solid wood. They do need some refinishing, and I think that if I was able to refinish them down to a lighter color and put a natural stain on them, they would sell in a second locally, but I just don't think I have the time to get them restored. This is another piece I have a feeling I might regret not buying. It's a really cool coffee table. It's very heavy. I'm pretty confident it is a vintage piece, and it has a really high gloss finish on it. I might regret not picking this up today, but it does have quite a few nicks in it, and again, I just don't have the time to restore it, so I'm gonna leave this here for another vintage dealer, and I'll probably see it pop up for sale on another reseller's Instagram account and regret not buying it, but I think we're gonna pass today. Such a beautiful box. I love having trinket boxes for jewelry and little odds and ends. It's an Anthropologie piece that was originally only $16 and it's $6.99 here at Goodwill. Since I don't really sell newer made stuff, even though this is beautiful, I'm gonna pass on it today. Well, I think you all know exactly what I'm going to be using this tiki mask for next year. I'm loving this Chalkware Falcon. He is pretty fantastic. He needs a little bit of touch-up paint, but this is going to be a great one for decorating with. I'm gonna get this metal hanging basket. It's only $3.99, and I am in need for a few more storage baskets for my studio space. The timing could not be more perfect to find these snowflake plates because we are going to be taking over appetizers to our family events this holiday season, and I think that these vintage plates are absolutely beautiful. One can never have too many little jars or containers, in my opinion, especially when they're only 99 cents. One thing I have been trying to find more of for my sister's bedroom makeover are picture frames. I'm trying to do a very eclectic mixture. I'm currently working on printing out some special photos of her and her family, and these are going to be perfect to add those into. There is a wall in my sister's bedroom that definitely needs a mirror, and I think that this might be the perfect mirror for that space. I didn't want something too big or too bulky, and I wanted something that she might be able to move around throughout her home. So I think that this mirror is going to be perfect.
Well, that just made it all worth it. I ended up running into Wildflower Vintage. That was really fun because we used to do flea markets together all the time, and I haven't seen her in such a long time. You should follow her on Instagram. I'll add her Instagram handle right here. She's amazing and finds the best stuff. So I got a cart full of goodies, and I feel like we can end today on a good note. I want to thank HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. I am finally home this winter. We had a crazy busy fall, and it is good to be home and have somewhat of a routine. Although I'm not honestly a big routine person. But one thing that I find is great about having a routine is setting aside time to cook dinner each night. And that is part of why I love HelloFresh. Knowing that it's going to be delivered on a specific day, I can set aside the time that I need to cook that dinner without having to go to the grocery store to get all of the ingredients. Jesse's trying to be graceful, but it's not working. I'm gonna teach you my ways. Go to HelloFresh.com and use the code LEFTCOAST18 for up to 18 free meals plus to get free shipping. That is HelloFresh.com and use my code LEFTCOAST18. Thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's video. I had so much fun in Gresham. It's always fun to stop by and visit Courtney with Poppy and Dale Vintage. She is one of my favorite humans on this earth. I just adore her, and I'm so impressed with her small brick and mortar and everything that she has accomplished. Gresham didn't start off good as far as finding treasures, but it sure did end well, and I love that last Goodwill that we went to. I found some really good stuff. If you have been following along on my YouTube journey for a few years, you know that I've been hauling out of my car because my husband also works from home full time, and he is on a lot of conference calls, and usually he's actually the one kind of coordinating the meeting, so he has to do a lot of talking. And even though we have 3 levels of our house, we have the tongue and groove ceilings, and everything just echoes. And so it doesn't really work out to have the background going, oh my gosh, can you believe that I found this for $1 at Goodwill? So I have to tell you how excited I am to finally have this studio space where you and I can just hang out, and I don't have to sit freezing in the car or hot in the car or dust flying everywhere from all the vintage I'm pulling out. So this is going to be a really fun creative space, and I am just so happy to be here, and thank you for watching. Here's the current status of the design center in the shop. I'm not going to show you the other side because I'm still working on building out a wall, but I wanted to show you what I've got going on so far. I'm going to be storing all of my favorite vintage items that I have found throughout the years that didn't make the cut at my home, or I just currently don't have displayed at my home. So in the past, I've had the majority of these things boxed up, and I would go through and pull them out of cabinets or boxes when I would change things up in my home. But it is so wonderful. I can't even tell you how happy I am to see all of these items displayed beautifully. And now I know where they are, and I can use them in upcoming design episodes. It's really coming together. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to share more with you next week. On top of today's haul, I also have several boxes full of things that I found last week, and I'm gonna pull those out and show them to you also. So first, let's dive into the Gresham haul, and then I'm gonna pull out the other treasures and we can do a little show and tell. I'm not sure what day this video is coming out, but Christmas is next week. And these are gonna be perfect to take Christmas treats to my family and my husband's family for Christmas. They were $3.99 each, and they've got these beautiful snowflakes. It's got my blue and green colors, which is a little bit hard to find with Christmas decor, and they were only $3.99 each. They match my outfit even. I wanna share the progress on my sister's bedroom makeover with you so bad, but I'm gonna wait for a full reveal. My sister left for the Philippines last week, and so I was finally able to get started painting. The entire room is painted. I'm not gonna tell you what color I painted it, but let's just say it is not lavender, and that room looks completely different. I will tell you that the color isn't white, and it is a darker color, and so I've really been looking for pieces that will contrast with the darker paint color. I like to mix woods and wood grains to make it so that you can buy items secondhand and they don't all have to match. When you make it look intentional and part of the design, I think that it really pulls everything together. So I found a couple beautiful picture frames, and I also got that mirror, which I wasn't positive if I was gonna pick up at first because I'm not trying to go for too much of a boho feel in there, but I am wanting to add in some warm elements and some natural elements. I put it in the cart, I walked around the store for a few minutes, and I decided, you know what, I think it's gonna work well in that space. So I can't wait to show you that. That episode is coming out in the beginning of January. I only have 2 more weeks until my sister gets home, and I still have a lot of work to do in that space. So that's why there's not as many videos coming out these last few weeks. I've been working really hard on the studio space and my sister's makeover. So thank you for your patience with the videos. Having this shop means that I needed a lot of shelving and storage space. A lot of the pieces here in the shop I already had, like the shelves behind me. They were pieces that I had used previously in vintage malls where I put all of my vintage for sale on, and I also had a lot of rolling racks for clothing because of flea markets. But one thing that I didn't really have enough of are storage baskets. I feel like I have a lot of shelves, but I don't have a lot of actual baskets. So I was really happy when I found this for only $3.99. It's a metal basket, but the best part is it has these little hooks to hang. So don't forget that you can thrift office supplies too. Thrifting is not just for clothing and home decor.
The basket fits perfect over here. I'm thinking I'm gonna actually use this for linens. I'm working on collecting more linens from Goodwill and thrift stores that I can use for decorating table settings, and I'm thinking that might be perfect for storage for that. The other thing I was thinking of is, since I don't really have much silver going on and I collect a lot of brass, I thought it might be pretty if I spray painted it a matte brass color. So I haven't decided. Might just leave it, might spray paint it, not quite sure what I'll do. But I'm super happy that I found it because it's gonna work great, and I could use all the storage that I can get in this space.
You know that I love my cute little jars, and I want to have everything really organized here in the studio. So I picked up this little jar for only 99 cents, and I'm actually going to put nails in it. I just thought it would be a cute little jar to hold the nails rather than putting them in a plastic bag or a plastic container. This has got to be my favorite find from the Gresham haul. This is a copy of the Maltese Falcon, which is from a 1941 movie that stars Humphrey Bogart. I have not seen this movie, and I thought that this was a really cool piece, and then I Googled it when I got in the car and found out that it was a chalkware replica. I believe that this was probably a pretty old piece, maybe 50s or 60s. Usually the more modern made copies are made out of plastic. They even have 3D printed ones for sale on Amazon and Etsy right now. So it's kind of a cool piece to have. I'm gonna keep this one for staging because I think it's beautiful. There's just something kind of ominous about this falcon. I think this would make a great Halloween decoration too. I had never heard of the movie before, so I'm really excited to watch that. That's one of my goals between now and Christmas, is to sit down and watch that movie. And then I'm sure I'm gonna like this piece even more. When I was researching it, I did find out that the actual one that was made out of cast bronze for the movie is the most valuable movie set prop that has ever been sold. It sold for millions of dollars, and there were rumors that at one point Leonardo DiCaprio had it, and then it popped back up years later. This is what I love about thrifting and buying vintage, is that you never know what you're gonna learn. And now I have a movie to watch next weekend.
Another thing that I really needed for this studio space were a lot of small furniture piece options for decorating and staging with. I love the legs on this, and it's really small, and as you can tell, it's a very lightweight piece. So this is going to be perfect for me to be able to move around and decorate with. And as with everything that I purchased, including all of this stuff back here, pretty much everything eventually gets sold. I just like to play around with it for a while and enjoy it before I pass it on sometimes. And if I ever do another flea market, these are the types of furniture pieces that I used to sell like hotcakes. When you have a flea market space, you really want to have a lot of furniture that people can actually pick up with them and leave with, instead of having to go get a truck or rent a U-Haul to come back and pick up. So small pieces of furniture like this, if you are a reseller at a flea market, are the perfect things to pick up, and I got a great deal on this one. All right, now we are going to move on to some finds from last week. Quite a few of these I found for my sister's bedroom makeover, and I feel like after you see these items, you're really going to start to get a feel of what I'm going for with that space. My sister's a little bit traditional, but she also likes a lot of current designs. So I'm trying to mix in some natural elements, some vintage items, and some current modern made pieces, but still 100% thrifted. I picked up this basket at Retails for only $2.99, and it has this really cheesy palm tree on the front of it. But I really liked the sturdiness and the size of this basket, and looking at it from this direction, I thought it was great. I haven't decided if I'm going to completely remove the palm trees and add in something else, or if I'm just gonna maybe paint it. You can't really see it if it's from the backside and it's painted. This is gonna be a great little storage basket for some of Milani's toys, because I know that she does spend a lot of time in her parents' room, and I want her to have a couple little places where she can tuck away some of her toys. I am obsessed with this color of green right now for interior design. I think it's such a beautiful shade of green. It's not quite sage, it's not quite teal. It just has this beautiful color tone to it. And I've been picking up a lot of pieces in varying shades of this green for my sister's makeover. And I also got a couple candle holders I'll show you in a minute that I think I'm gonna use these for in that space. And they were 99 cents for the pair of them. I found a set of flatware. It's not a complete set, but it was only $3.99, and I'm always looking for brass flatware for decorating with. It's something that I just don't come across designs that I like often. I really love this set because of the hammered brass look on it, and then it's got botanical flowers on the handle. It's not a complete set, but that makes it even better for decorating with, because I don't feel bad that it's not being used in everyday life. If you are looking for a set of flatware for your own home, don't be afraid to mix and match. If you find a set like this for $3.99 and you love it, but there's not a complete set, don't hesitate to pick it up, because you might find another incomplete set that balances well with it. And I think it looks beautiful to have a table setting with mixed and matched pieces. Here are a couple vases that I picked up at Retails. This one was only 79 cents, and it looked like the base of a spaceship. I don't know, or a claw, maybe a lobster claw. I just thought it was kind of adorable, and it was only 79 cents. And I love bumps. I think that this is such a cool vase. As soon as I saw this, it reminded me of the Pina Palace in Sintra, Portugal that Jesse and I went to. They had these giant castle walls that had these huge bumps coming out of them. This is not a vintage piece, it's actually a newer piece, and I don't know if somebody painted it themselves or if it just came like this originally, but I'm actually thinking that I might paint this a matte black and add it to my Halloween decor collection. There's something kind of ominous about this piece, and I think in a matte black, it'll look really neat with some of the other vintage pottery that I already have. This was a very exciting find. It was $12.99, which was a little bit higher price for typical items that I find at that thrift store, but I really loved it. And I have another hand that I use here in the studio to clip things, and it's also a Victorian reproduction, probably from like maybe the 50s or 60s, which I think that this is too. Since I already have the other hand here at the studio and Maya has been using it for notes, I think I'm gonna put a couple pictures of Maya and I from our travels this last year in this frame. Wavy things that look like shells and natural organic shapes are so in right now. This is a handmade signed pottery piece and it was only $1.99. And clearly it is perfect for holding jewelry. These are some other finds that I got at Retails. I got these vintage earrings for only $2.99. And then these Mexican alpaca silver earrings that have crushed turquoise stones in them. And even though they're alpaca silver, they're really beautiful. And they were only $4.99. I love large dramatic earrings, but the problem is a lot of times that means that they're a little bit too heavy. And I got this necklace for $5.99 with the intent of actually turning it into earrings. I thought it would be really pretty to kind of have dangle earrings with like the large wooden discs. These weigh almost nothing. They're basically feathers. Okay, can you kind of see what I'm saying? I think that they're gonna be beautiful for earrings, and I'll probably make them fairly long. I just don't want them to quite touch my shoulders. Maybe that, or maybe that. I don't know. You will find out in an upcoming jewelry repurposing episode. I'm gonna be filming that here very soon. I almost have the studio completely set up. As soon as I do, I'm having a couple friends over and we're gonna have a jewelry making night. And of course, I will share it all with you. Here are 3 items that I picked up for my sister's bedroom makeover. As you can see, this vase matches those candles I showed you earlier, and I've been looking for a few more matte black accents, so this candle holder will be perfect. And then I will use pieces like this frame that has the black matte metal around it, but it will also tie in really well with the mirror that I got in Gresham and kind of just add a little bit more of an organic, natural feel without going too boho. I'm gonna try to keep it still simple and modern with a little bit of boho, just a little bit. Here is another piece that I picked up at Retails for $5.99. It is a handmade, hand-painted piece of Mexican pottery. I have a pretty large Mexican pottery collection going at home, but it's all boxed up right now, so I'm not gonna pull it out. I can try popping in some clips here of some of the pieces that I've had displayed at my previous home, so you can kind of get an idea of some of the things that I've collected. This is gonna be the perfect piece to take a charcuterie board to a friend's house, because you can easily fit all kinds of treats and snacks in here, and you kind of have this edge to hold it all together, and then you can just saran wrap over it to keep it nice and fresh. So even though I'm not going to be using this to bake anything in, I definitely will be using it to serve food in, and I think it's a really beautiful piece, and I'm excited to add it to my collection. I love to thrift something that I don't think is very attractive, modify it slightly, and then turn it into something new, repurpose it, or just find a different way to decorate with it than it was probably intended for in the first place. Now this is a candle holder, and I intend to still use it as a candle holder, but these little crystals are just a little bit too much. I love this beautiful gray stone. You can see some little shells in it. It's so pretty, but I think that the crystals just kind of kill the vibe. And the majority of them are missing anyways. I paid $6.99 for it at Goodwill. I'm going to remove this top and turn it into a little bit more of a minimalist candle holder. And when I take that top off and put this together with some of the other pieces, I definitely think you're gonna see this piece in a different light.
It was a little bit rusty, but it was pretty easy to dismantle. But I'm not going to show you the after because I decided that I want to reattach this and have this section and this section painted matte black to tie in with the other candle holder. So you will have to wait until my sister's bedroom makeover, but I promise that's coming soon. I don't know if this is supposed to be a goblet because it's rounded inside, a candle holder, or a vase. Not quite sure. It looks to be handmade and I love the warm wood tones in it. It was only $2.99. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna use this in my sister's bedroom makeover or if this is gonna come to the January 1st Friday sale. But I think I might possibly try adding in a small potted plant and kind of having it overflowing. I like to have plants that are raised up rather than having everything at the same height. So this could do the trick for that. And it also would probably look pretty great with a tall pillar candle in it, if I could get it to rest in there at the right angle. We'll give that a try. Okay, none of the candles that I have quite fit this piece right here, but you can kind of imagine what it would look like with a tall pillar candle if it fit. I think that it's gonna become a plant stand instead. Might be a little bit easier. This would definitely be my preferred way to use it. I love raising up plants, especially when they overflow out of the top. Try. Sometimes I pick up pieces at the thrift store and Jesse is like, do you think a kid made that? And I'm usually like, no, 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 no. This is like an artist, someone very talented made this piece. You can just tell. Well, a kid very likely made this, but I don't care because I think it's so adorable. Every bookshelf deserves to have a few fun and quirky pieces, and it was only $3.99. Postmodern vintage is so hot here in Portland. So even though my style leans a little bit more eclectic, mid-century, bohemian, I also have a business to run. And so you've got to be able to adapt and know what people are looking for, especially locally. This is a fun vintage postmodern lamp. It was only $9.99 and they sell online for over $100. I picked up a few other postmodern kind of 1980s looking pieces. And so I'm gonna style all of those up together for you. I almost didn't even see this lamp because it was hidden under the giant lampshade. It's a nice 1960s, 1970s lamp in a beautiful avocado green color. Running my own business means that I have to be very organized, and that doesn't come that natural to me, to be honest. And so taking notes and writing myself notes when things come to my mind is really important for me to be able to stay nice and organized. And that is why I grabbed this leather notebook from Retails. These sell online for around $40 or $50. This one's clearly a little bit older, but the zipper works great on it. And I already went to the store to get some paper to add in. This is gonna be a great one for me to take on road trips when I'm saving lots of receipts for my purchases, because it has a back section that I can tuck in all of my receipts. Might not be the most exciting thing you've ever seen me thrift, but you know what? I'm very happy about this find. On that note, I have to show you my favorite notebook. I thrifted this at the Goodwill bins years ago. For those of you who are not familiar with the Goodwill bins, we have them here in the Portland metro area, and I know that they do have them throughout the country in some locations. And basically they roll out these giant bins and they're just full of stuff. The items haven't been gone through and they haven't been sorted, so it's just a pile of stuff, and you really got to get down and dig to find good pieces in there. Well, this is one of my favorite pieces I pulled out of there. It's a really old leather notebook, and somebody carved MC plus PT up at the top, and then there's this little heart, and I can't tell what was originally written in the heart. I just love to have old things. I don't know, it's just my thing. I like old things. I so wish that this was gonna fit me. This was another great find at Retails. I picked up this coat for only $24.99, and this is a 1990s does 1970s. So it is the Penny Lane Afghan style by the brand Guess. 1990 is now vintage, even though it feels like it was just yesterday that these were coming out and popular and I wanted one.
It's now vintage. This beauty will be coming to my January 1st Friday sale. So for those of you who are new here, I list my vintage finds the first Friday of every month on my website, leftcoastrevivals.com. And my shop sale goes live at 3 p.m. Pacific the first Friday of every single month. So if you see me find something in a video, typically it gets listed that following first Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for the January 1st Friday sale because a lot of the pieces from today are gonna be in that sale. Now I wanna take a moment to show you some of my favorite recent auction finds. I have been picking up some beautiful candle holders and I love this pair. They are vintage Italian candle holders. So the back right here is where you put your candle and they have little brass birds on them. I thought that these were very whimsical and beautiful. And the fact that I was able to find a pair together made me really excited. So I got these on an online auction and these will be coming to the January sale for sure. These bird candle holders crack me up. I don't know what is so funny about them, but I really like them. I need to tighten the screw on this one. His crown's kind of wobbly. These were another online auction find and they'll be coming to the January 1st Friday sale as well. I like to have pieces that are a little bit quirky to pull out for certain vignettes. Anyone can have a normal brass candle holder, but not everyone has a bird king and queen candle holder. These are another online auction find from recently and they're hand turned, made in Africa. And they've got these roaring lions going around them. The seller thought that these were from the 1940s. I'm not sure. I have not been able to find another pair even similar to them, but I'm gonna be keeping these for a little bit to stage with because you know I got a thing for lions. I also found this pottery piece at Goodwill. It was $4.99. And I'm gonna be using this one to burn my Palo Santo sticks in. A lot of times when I'm working, I like to have either incense or a Palo Santo burning because it gives me such a comforting and calming feeling when I'm working and the space just smells so good. One of the things I love about this is that it looks like it is a cast metal piece. It even feels like it, but it is actually a painted piece of pottery. So I told you at the beginning of today's episode that I was gonna give you a little bit more information about niche. When I mentioned it a few weeks back in an episode, there were so many questions that you guys had, and I was so excited and grateful for all the interest. We got vintage stores around the country signing up for our wait list and lots of potential shoppers that went to the website and signed up. So I just wanted to say thank you. I'm so grateful for you. And this is gonna be a really wonderful app that is gonna completely change the way that we shop secondhand. I wanted to go over a few of the top questions that people had. One of the questions that was asked over and over again was, are online vintage resellers going to be able to be sellers on the app? And the answer is no. This app is specifically designed for small brick and mortar businesses. So think vintage stores, small secondhand stores, large secondhand stores, huge antique malls. Anywhere that has a physical location that sells secondhand and vintage items. They will be the sellers. Now the shoppers are all of us. Even the sellers can be shoppers too. Everyone else can shop locally. The main goal of Niche is to connect the local shoppers with their local stores. And I just happen to have the perfect example to explain why this app is so important to me and why I think it's going to be important to all of you as well. When I got the keys to the studio, I was looking for a large credenza and I had a very specific credenza in mind. I have spent the last 3 weeks scouring Facebook Marketplace. I have probably found what I'm looking for 5 different times. Not one of them has it worked out to complete the sale. So I'm a shopper trying to buy something and everyone's just flaking out. And I kept thinking to myself, I wish Niche was live right now so that I could use it to find this credenza. All that I would have to do as a shopper is upload a photo to the Niche app and send out a request saying what I'm looking for, send the picture, and say my price range. And it would get sent automatically to all the vintage stores, antique stores, and thrift stores in my local community to see who might have that item available. And the vintage store owners and dealers do not have to spend hours posting their items on social media sites, weeding through no-shows and ads. Another top question that was asked about Niche was, how does the shipping work? There is no shipping. This is all local, in-store, person-to-person contact. And that is part of the beauty of it. The last few years, we really didn't get out and see each other as much as I know so many of us wanted to. And Niche is gonna help bring our communities back together in person. And that is pretty much the app in a nutshell. There's obviously so much more to this amazing app, and I'm so excited to share that with you as it gets closer to rolling out. I know a lot of you did go download the original version of the app. Don't do
that, the new app is in development. The new app is rolling out at the beginning of the year. And if you head to my website, leftcoastrevivals.com, or the Niche website, you are going to be the very first to know as soon as the app goes live. If you are considering being a seller on the Niche app, I've created a video that answers a lot more questions. I will link that in the description below. And if you want to be a shopper on the Niche app, then head to the link in the description below that says shoppers, and that will take you to the wait list. And again, you will be the first to know as soon as Niche goes live in your area. If you have more questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them as quickly as possible. So Christmas is just around the corner, and I know a lot of you have been wondering if I was going to be putting out a Christmas special. And I'm not doing a complete standalone episode this year because I've just been so busy with my sister's makeover, with holiday and friend commitments, and then of course the studio. But I am going to show you what we did with our home for Christmas this year. We just got done hosting Bunko with my family, and I'm one of 6 kids, and I'm one of over 35 cousins. So we have an annual tradition of getting together to play Bunko. We have literally been doing this every year since I was born, and it is one of the most exciting nights in the entire year. When all of us cousins get together, we automatically revert back to our childhood versions of ourselves, and it is hilarious. We are laughing the entire night, and we had such a wonderful time. We are pretty much finished moving into the studio, and we've got a lot of projects already finished in here and a few more that I'm not quite finished on, but I wanted to let you know that I'm not going to make you wait a long time for an update. Next week, I'm going to be sharing my top finds from 2022, and the best part is you might think you've seen them all if you've watched every video this year, but you haven't, because my best find this year I just got this week. So stay tuned for that video next week so you can see all of my top 2022 vintage finds and get an updated studio tour. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss when that episode drops. I want to wish all of you happy holidays. I hope that you have a wonderful and safe and comforting time spending it with your family or friends or both. And I just wanted to say thank you. This year has been amazing, and we are going to go out with another fun episode next week. So I will see you then.